Hello, my name is Dawn H. Jones and I am Managing Director of Hope Place HR, and our mission is to help you become HR wise and also to create thriving workplaces. Now, before we get started on this week's video, I'd like to ask you a favour, if I may. Would you take 10 seconds and subscribe to our YouTube channel? We're aiming to get to about 200 subscribers this year and we're a little way off. So if you would take the time to subscribe, we would really appreciate that, and we thank you in advance for you doing that. So in this week's video, we're going to look at 8 key roles in the disciplinary process. The personnel involved in a disciplinary process can be a bit of a mystery to managers and employees alike. So we're going to look at 8 key roles in the disciplinary process. And they are the employee, the HR advisor or manager, the commissioning manager, the investigating manager, the trade union representative or workplace colleague, the hearing manager, the note taker, and the appeal manager. Now, there may be more people depending on the specific process, but generally these 8 key roles should give you a good overview. And it is purely an overview, this video, of these roles, and it's essential, absolutely essential, that you take the time to read your employer's disciplinary procedure and you make sure that you actually follow that. Okay, let's look at the first of the 8 roles. So the first of the 8 roles is that of the employee, and it probably goes without saying, but the employee would be expected to participate in the process, including following the policy, provide statements requested, and arrange their own trade union representative or work colleague. So it's really important that the employee does fully participate and they are aware of what is actually happening. The second role is that of the HR advisor or HR manager, and HR advisors or HR managers are responsible for advising managers on each stage of the process, informing employees of their appropriate procedures and their rights within it, and being present. They will be present at formal disciplinary proceedings, and they will also be responsible for advising on the consistent application of proceedings. The next role is that of the commissioning manager, and the commissioning manager oversees the process. So their responsibilities include conducting or arranging for someone to perform an initial fact-finding exercise to determine whether there is a potential disciplinary issue. This will consist of speaking to the employee, witnesses, and considering available evidence. If there is a disciplinary issue, the commissioning manager will notify the employee of the allegations, and the commissioning manager may also need to consider whether suspension is appropriate or if the employee should undertake different or restricted duties. Now, I will say that line managers can also undertake many of the aspects of the duties that I've just mentioned. Now, additional duties for the commissioning manager will also include appointing an investigating manager, drafting terms of reference for an investigation, and if other matters come to light, the commissioning manager will need to review the terms of reference. So the next role up is that of the investigating manager. And the investigating manager is responsible for carrying out a thorough investigation in line with the disciplinary policy and any other relevant policies. And this includes interviewing relevant parties and examining documentary and digital evidence, and establishing a fair and balanced account of the facts, and then writing a report, presenting their findings of facts in report form to the commissioning manager. Now, the commissioning manager, which we've just talked about, will review the investigating manager's report and determine if there is no action, informal action, or formal action. Now, if there is a case to answer, the commissioning manager will appoint a hearing manager, and we'll come on to that role shortly, or they may choose to act as a hearing manager in addition to their role as a commissioning manager. Okay, so the next role that we will be looking at is that of the trade union representative or workplace colleague. Now, an employee can bring a trade union rep or workplace colleague to formal meetings. It's also good practice to enable employees to bring a trade union rep or workplace colleague to investigation meetings, and I know that that does happen in a lot of organisations anyway. In any event, it is the responsibility of the employee to arrange representation and inform the investigating manager or hearing manager who their companion is before the meeting. And I would suggest that you refer to your individual organisation's policy and procedures regarding timescales of when to do that. Obviously, sooner is better. Now, the hearing manager, which is the next role up, if the matter goes to hearing, there will be a hearing manager, and the hearing manager is responsible for chairing a disciplinary hearing, explaining the disciplinary hearing process, and that includes advising the employee of their right to be accompanied, checking that they've received all the paperwork and the disciplinary procedures. Do they need reasonable adjustments? And the hearing officer will hear the case and notify the outcome of their decision in writing. Now, there are timescales to notifying an employee of the outcome of a hearing, so check your individual policies for that also. The next role up is that of the note taker, and the role of the note taker is to take accurate minutes of the meetings. These notes do not have to be verbatim, but they should be a correct record, and sometimes the investigating officer also acts as a note taker, but wherever possible, depending on the resource within the organisation, it's always better to get a designated person that is reasonably skilled at taking notes to take those notes, so that would be their ultimate source of focus. Now, it's good practice to produce notes as soon as possible, but certainly within 2 weeks of the meeting, wherever possible. Alternative to written notes and subject to the agreement of all parties, a digital recording may be acceptable and a transcript produced after the meeting, but just bear in mind, it should be subject to the agreement of all parties, unless, of course, your disciplinary policy already provides for digital recordings. And the last role is that of the appeal manager. So the appeal manager will chair the appeal hearing, explain the appeal hearing process, advise of the employee of their right to be accompanied, and so forth. They will confirm the grounds of the employee appeal, hear the appeal, and notify the outcome of their decision in writing, again within the specified time outlined in the disciplinary policy. So those are the 8 key roles in a disciplinary process. There may be other roles depending on the nature of the issues at hand, but generally speaking, those are the key roles. So that concludes my presentation for this week, the video for this week. If you have any questions, please do get in contact with us, or if you would like us to support you on a process such as an independent investigation, please do get in contact with us. Our details are on the screen. And in the meantime, thank you for listening. Be HR wise, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.